Everyday Superpower, the place where we talk about body language, we talk about relationships, human dynamics, game, everything in between. Yes, two links in the description of this video. One of them links are going to take you to my catalogue of body language. It's a YouTube playlist, A to Z of learning how to read people through their unconscious behaviors. You'll learn how to read people's minds. Second to that, you're going to have the Patreon, which you will join me in watching, observing, and breaking down attraction cues and repulsion cues on real life first dates. You'll internalize that by default and you'll see that manifest in your day to day and you'll become fantastic in the dating field. Now, let's move. We've got a topic of conversation today. That topic is you can do, but I'd advise you stop speaking so much to her about the past and let's talk about the present and let's talk about the future instead. That's not generally regarding us as a couple, but me as a person. I don't need to talk too much anyway, because people, you need to be listening and inquiring as opposed to going out of your way to speak about yourself so much. The more you speak about yourself, the less bothered she's going to be about you. There's going to be no intrigue, and she's not going to leave the conversation thinking about you any further. You'll have told her everything you needed to know. You have to release yourself in trickles and sprinkles, and as you continue engaging with this person over the days, over the months, over the years, you will always have this pocket of your personality that is ever so mysterious, dangerous perhaps, because you'll go through life and being the man you are, you'll continue creating, experimenting, experiencing, and you'll always have something in reserve to surprise. You're not going to go home and play video games and go to work and then come home and play video games and go to sleep and blah blah blah. Number one, she won't find that attractive. Number two, you're a man, you don't do that. You have ambition, you have something to pursue, and if you don't know what you're pursuing, you have to work that out as a grown man. You have a higher purpose. You have a real purpose to be here, to devote your life to. So work that out and do that. Now, when we speak on the past, we speak about our experiences. And when we speak about our experiences, we feel that what we have to say is of importance and that we are of importance to take up that space in that conversation. And it gets boring, it gets repetitive. Do you know the guy who you speak to who is just waiting to speak about his own experience in his own life? And then before you know it, you know everything about this guy. You know where he studied, you know what he studied, you know how that went, you know how he got to the point he is now, and to the point where it becomes almost sad because I don't want to hear a grown man. And I've been in, I've peeped game 100 times over in different social groups with different people, right? There's nothing that is sadder than a grown man talking to a woman, trying to sell himself and trying to place himself in conversation by speaking on his experiences whilst he was younger. What do you mean? Have you got no experience right now? Are you not doing anything right now? In the present, are you not working on anything? You see what we're talking about. There's more value. There's more seductive value in what's going on. And when we speak on the future, what we do is we imply and we insinuate through slight means from time to time that the person as to whom we're engaging with, that beautiful woman, is going to be there with us. Our future is bright, my future is bright, and this is what we're going to do. And I'm not saying that to say we're overt, because it changes from time to time. We're not overtly going to say, yeah, when we are a couple and we do this and that. Tongue in cheek, if you want to give the game up and you want to be flirtatious, I mean, you go for it if it's the right time and right place. But when I speak on everything's fantastic, momentum is establishing, and this is going to be a very successful project, I cannot wait. And when I speak on I'm feeling like traveling come the years to come. I'm going to get myself prepared and we're going to go here and there. What you're doing is you're planting a seed and you're creating an image within the mind of that individual, almost in a hypnotic state. They can sit and think, and like I said, we have to turn and turn and turn and churn multiple fruitful, colourful ideas within the imagination of that person in order for them to fall in love and to think about us more so. Yes? We don't do that when we sit around talking about what our teenage years were like. If they ask us, we might give them an answer, but am I that boring that I need to refer back to the same old crap from time to time? You run out of stuff to talk about. When you're not being forward thinking and you're not being driven and ambitious and creative in your day-to-day life, this is what you end up relying on. And then before you know it, you are just a book that's been read 20 times over. You're boring. I don't want to read you no more. I want to find something new and exciting. I want to find the next fantasy novel that gives me a kick, that has something to think about, that spurs me into dreaming about them. I'm going to sit there thinking, all right, well, as a woman, I'm going to sit there thinking, oh, he's not going to be with me for long because he's got these plans and ambitions, and he's not lied about them, right? We're not lying about these things. If you have an idea and it makes sense to you, you speak with honesty, and that honesty will be picked up because you've never lied to this woman in your life, right? Because you're a truth teller, because you're an honest man and you have principles. So she picks up on that. She's recognized the pattern. She's packaged you in a separate space from all the rest of the men who just chat shit all day, don't know how to speak. And you say, yeah, I'm thinking of doing this. And you say, you know what, things are working out well. And you say, I'm enjoying myself. Life's good. Or you say, I'm a little bit frustrated because I know I could be somewhere a little different. I know what I'm worth. So I'm thinking about my next move, and I think I'm going to blah-de-blah-de-blah, right? I was watching I was listening to a podcast. Two people, relatively smart, or at least they seem that way. They were speaking on historical concepts and philosophical ideas. And you know what? At no point did either of them refer to their own life, because they had fruitful conversation based upon knowledge, growth, and exploration in concepts that were bigger and beyond them as mortal beings. Whereas I bet, and you tell me if I'm wrong, the most of you, at least initially, before getting into game, you were going on dates and, you were speaking to women and you thought you just had to express yourself in a manner as to which you went on the heavy trying to sell yourself. It's desperate. Oh, this is me, this is my background, these are my family, these are my friends. Oh, me, the almighty I. I'm coming across so confident and consistent in my discussion of myself. It's a grand, big declaration of how insecure I actually am, because I need to conceal that with this overt display of who I am. Please like me for who I am. She'll like you more if you find out who she is and you cater to her and her needs. Yes? Not through a Mr. Nice Guy means, but through an understanding. Oh, it's like I've known you for years. Yeah? What should tell the next man? Well, do you know what she thinks about the next man? Man, I wish I could get a word in edgeways. All he does is sits and talks about himself, talks about his past, talks about what he's done. He got no drive. You know what I mean? One of the turning factors, I said in an earlier video, right? I've spoken to what the world may consider high value women, and regardless of who their partners were and were not, the reoccurring theme was they wanted a man with, at the very least, ambition. Not the material possession, but the ambition and the intellect to prove that wherever they may be, they could attain more and move onwards. They're not stunted. They're not in need of a handout ever. Full stop, because they are self-sufficient go-getters. When you speak of the future and you speak of what you're actioning in the present, you portray the ambition. You showcase the ambition. We know that it's not through speaking of, it's through the actual results. So we don't need to linger on what we're doing for too long, because the proof is in the pudding, right? We don't sit around and celebrate our successes to the high mountains, because that conjures envy and jealousy with our fellow males. A little less so with the women, which makes them better companions in my personal opinion. Although, what do I know? I'm a womanizer, right? What they call me. Women don't feel the envy a man does. Men are good for real talk. But I need to know a man for years on end before we get there. That's the problem. Because up until that point, 95% of them prove to be something they're not. Or something they, that's the moment that mask slips, it's over. It's over. So where do we go from here? I'd like to know about your past, because it gives me insight on your patterns. It gives me insight on your relationships with the people around you. It gives me insight on who you are and how I can treat you and how I can avoid making the mistakes that other people have done in the past, and avoid making mistakes that will hurt you and harm your psyche. I don't want to be that person. But as far as I'm concerned, you can unlock my background through questions and experience as the time passes by, because I'm not an open book and I need investment in order to know you're worth it. I need you to invest in me, because I'm special and I'm worth it. I'm not here to give you the entire world just for the sake of your attention and validation. I can move on to the next person who's worth more, you know? On that note, I'm signing out. Click like and subscribe. That's some game. Peace.